Oh, hi there. Today, we're going to look into the life of a local mass media professional. I'd like to introduce to you Tony Plashinsky. Hi there.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet you.
doing this for us.
Yes.
So,
It's weird down there.
okay, so before we go anywhere, what do you do? What product do you sell, and in what role do you play in selling that product?
I am in the media dinosaur that is radio, actual broadcast radio.
Okay. Now, from given today in the modern society that we live in, how does modern radio stack up to the other 55,000 news media outlets that are available to people right now?
Well, obviously, I mean, radio can claim a few victories there, like newspaper. I mean, what does the newspaper come 2 or 3 times a week now? I mean, it's an almost obsolete form of media. But believe it or not, radio is becoming the same thing, and not so much that people don't listen to stuff. That's the reason that newspapers gone away. Is why sit there and actually have to read if somebody can just pump something into your ears or into your eyes like television or radio. But even radio, as far as broadcast radio, as it's been classically known, is going away because people can just customize anything any way they want. You have Pandora and all these paid-for services where you can just design anything any way you want, listen to anything you want. Everything is so... It wasn't... You don't have to go buy a CD. You don't have to wait for your favorite song to come on the radio. But, I mean, it's still a hugely viable source of media for a bunch of different reasons other than the entertainment aspect. The entertainment aspect, we're losing ground on.
Right. Okay. So now that it's called the dinosaur that's fading out, I don't ever know that radio will truly fade out. Like, I know for a fact, my wife, when she goes to work, there's something that's old school and something that's just natural about the human existence. To work and to listen to your local radio, to hear about a local restaurant that might have just opened down the street. Now, given all that, even though it may be a fading source, it isn't. There is competition.
Well, that's the only reason it still exists. I mean, you just said she's getting ready to go to work. So when you get ready to go to work, sure, a lot of people, maybe they just want to zone out and hear music or listen to their favorite band for a little bit. But other people are like, I need to be to work by this time. I need to know what traffic reports there
Exactly.
are. I need to know if there's a storm coming because I have kids. I need to know...
Even though we have apps
think
and
of
things,
something
they're
to
not
do
live.
this weekend, or
Right.
I want to get out amongst them and do something this weekend. You're not going to get that from listening to a national outlet. You're going to get the entertainment you want, but the reason radio is still viable is because it's the community aspect of it.
Now, is all local weather local?
Well, I mean, if it's local weather or local traffic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from a local source.
Right. That's what I meant.
It could be some guy in California that's just looking at all the footage from the cameras on the passageways or the Wallace Tunnel.
Exactly, yeah.
Or it could be just somebody saying, "Oh, it's the Wallace Tunnel." Of course,
He's got great voice,
Friday.
works from home,
Yeah.
type deal. No.
But a lot of times, if you do have actual local radio stations, they'll have like a sister television station or something.
And what would
sharing
they
of
do?
information.
So,
You would get weather reports and news reports from them. You would share the information you have with them.
right. Okay.
So, one station might be, even though they would cull information from anybody, they would be specifically attached to somebody. So the news in the morning, they might just rerun the news from ABC or NBC or Fox or whatever the local affiliate was.
Okay. Well, speaking of the local area and the local affiliate, okay, what have you been doing here lately? I know they had the festival downtown. I know you just came from that, and I was barely able to catch you tonight for this interview. So, what did they have you do at the station? I know that you had a talent fee where they pay a certain amount of money for you to come out.
Not for things like that. This is
okay.
just stuff that we'd be stupid not to be involved in. Just because we're locally owned and operated, we're in the community, it's built on the community, all these people have been here forever.
And the local band,
it's live music, it's everything that anybody, but at the same time, I mean, like the zoo and other local businesses like the Soul Kitchen or whatever, the JPV Foundation, all these other people that came together and did this and put this thing together. They're all like-minded in that they're trying to attack something locally, but at the same time, I mean, where the talent fees come in, that's the advertising part of it. That's the
Okay, so if they call, they
that's
say
what keeps it on the air.
right. So if they have if a company has a something that they're putting on for the public, they will call their local radio station and say, "We need somebody that can present this. Somebody that can what would they call it?"
Well, basically, you're asking somebody to come to your business.
Yeah, right.
And talk about your business for a little while. So
Okay, so what do they ask for? An advertising professional? Do you do that? Is it kind of a side thing, or is it all in one?
no, basically, they want the radio station to come out there and promote this place.
Okay.
And sometimes they might specifically ask for one person or another.
You do a lot of charities too.
Yeah, I mean, the station will get him. I mean, the station, well, not only has a responsibility to the community that way, but also, I mean, yeah, they want to be involved. And I mean, think about it. You're basically finding a way through, one, you're doing what you love to do, but
Right.
you're also finding a way to help other people. I mean, if you can just say something on the radio, it's not like, I mean, how many flyers can you go staple to telephone poles?
Do you know how many listeners that you have?
No, I don't.
No,
A lot.
A lot.
But also, I mean,
What
a
is the
lot.
potential listening audience? Do you know that, or do they give you?
The numbers? I don't think about that.
They're up there though, right? Because it's a large area.
Well, the thing is, I mean, everybody has a lot of competition, and there's a way to track that. I mean, I'm sure even people within the radio station I work for, they track it and look at it. But
But you guys don't worry about competition because you guys are number one at 92 Zoo.
I mean, no, in what sense? What do you
Well,
mean?
in the sense that, given that you was telling me earlier about the different wattage of the satellite the.
Oh, I
satellites.
mean, basically, 92 Zoo, it has a weird place that way. Yeah, that it just, it is a favorite. I mean, you can tell it's a visceral thing. It's not something you can probably pin down to numbers or find in a book or whatever. But if you win every Nappy Award and every Reader's Choice Award for years as the best radio station when you're working with 25,000 watts as opposed to 100,000 watts, yeah, I mean, it shows that people are listening, they're interested.
Approval rating. How do they gather this number? You said at one time you told me when you started there their approval rating goes up. How do they know?
Well, I mean, if a station is doing well or their ratings are going up or if they're going down, they have a
What determines
system,
ratings?
like the Nielsen ratings. The Nielsen ratings will be the same thing for television, where there will be a certain amount of people within a certain demographic that'll they'll get a little bit of information from, and then they'll quantify that by how many people live in that area or whatever, and they'll figure that so many people spend this much time listening to this particular radio station in this area or whatever. And of course, it is known that if you're 100,000 watts and you're specifically engineered toward a taste or a product, you're going to do better as far as maybe mass numbers overall. But the effect you have in a community, I mean, that's quantifiable on a bunch of different planes. And so even if your ratings are really good or whatever, and I mean they are, if you have your number one rock station, your number one top 40 station, your number one oldies station, and then your urban station,
Right.
and all of them are 100,000 watts. They're owned by the same conglomerate that puts
Exactly.
out all these radio stations, and they've got a bunch of peanut counting Peabodys in a back room saying, "Look, the more we play this song, the more we get this person that's between this age and this age."
So
And
the
they
zoo,
like
92
lollipops
Zoo
and
doesn't do that.
unicorns and
The zoo's not known for that.
well, I mean, yeah, no, it's not that. It's just that a locally owned and operated radio station, it's a lot more grassroots. It's a more grassroots
Gotcha.
approach to it. It's not a numbers and calculated thing. What we do is we're there. We go out and meet them. We're at these shows. We meet these people. We put on these shows. We answer the freaking phone if people call us. I mean,
Right.
we let people vote on the music and what they like and what they don't like. I mean, it's just a lot more grassroots in that we're in the community. It's like this. You could have something. You have a product. And yes, we want to sell advertising. We want more people to listen. We want more time spent listening. We want people to buy our product. But we also like the good that it affords us. So you've got that package. But it's like anything else. I mean, you have to look at the dynamic of the situation and just say, what is it we're going to get out of what we put in or whatever.
Now, is it economical? Is it something that's lucrative? Maybe not. I know it's tough. You hear about local radio stations going out, but how have y'all stood the test of time?
Oh, we stood the test. I mean, I think I think because everybody in Mobile's always.
How long have you been in radio? Too?
Me?
Yes.
Not that long. 10, 11 years.
That's a long time. Most people don't hold a job for longer than 3 now.
Well, I mean, that was me before radio. I mean, I like it though.
So how long has the zoo been around?
Actually, 32 years. A month and a half ago, we turned 32 years old. There was a little hiatus there. The zoo actually went off the air for a while. You'll run into people once in a while that have like these shirts that they made when it went off the air, like RIP 92 Zoo. People took it hard. I mean, it was a big deal. And
that's awesome. I like that.
It's one of those things that came back by popular demand. That people needed it. They needed it in their life. And it's changed its face over time. But, I mean, at the root of it, what you and me have been talking about and everything is radio, how viable it is, and what its responsibility is. And I think they take their responsibility a little more seriously. We have an owner. We can go and see the guy that owns the radio station, and decisions might be made there. Now, decisions as far as what you hear on the air, he's already turned that responsibility over to somebody. You have a program director, and they say, this is how it's going to sound when it comes out. But the program director is also on the air. And that's the difference with us. The promotions director is on the air. The program director is on the air. The music director is on the air. Usually what you get is somebody on the air talking after everybody else has decided behind the scenes. Somebody just says exactly what they tell them to say. Everybody you hear on the air of 92 Zoo has been part of the decision-making process because they're all wearing 2 suits because it's locally owned and operated. You can't pay this guy $50,000 just to sit around and buy stickers and give them out at a concert or whatever.
Right. So you have a company. Okay, this company, the product that they put out is the radio. Everybody, and I've been there and I've seen all the cubicles. It does give you the mindset of the news, being in like the Birmingham News. When I was in there, all the people working behind, all of that is just to get to the point to where a voice leaves the microphone in which you speak in. You do now. What hours do you work if somebody wanted to listen to you?
2 to 6.
2 to 6.
And everybody there is working on one goal, and that's to keep it on the air.
Okay.
You know
now, how much power do you hold in keeping that on the air? Because live is live, and with power and responsibilities, they're kind of like unique genetic twins, where one doesn't exist without the other. But there's a lot of, so you're held to a lot of responsibility. You could, and not saying that everybody has the cleanest language. What happens if you slipped up and said a word that was offensive, or you broke some kind of law? What's the worst possible scenario?
Well, I mean, you get fired, I guess, or the radio. Well, the worst possible scenario is you could lose your call
off the air, right?
Yeah, they could take your radio station off the air, but people don't really.
So what kind of power do you hold there? You said earlier it might have been like a 70-30. I didn't quite get it. So what? How much? No, I'll take it back. How much freedom do you have there?
Oh, I was just saying, you're asking me how much of it is told to you to say.
How much of it is Shirtless Tony and how much of it is what they told you to say?
Oh, let's be real. I mean, Shirtless Tony, he goes to Hang Up Fest and he stays there all year. I mean, it's about 70-30. You get to engage your audience.
Now, which one's 70? Is that yours? Your freedom?
Yeah, they give you
Okay.
about 70% freedom. Not that they tell you not to. I mean, they certainly don't tell you not to say anything. But
Yeah, I know everything's
30%
regulated. Yeah.
of it is things that you have to. People that bought advertising, people that paid for advertising, people that, and that's how you stay on the air. If you want to keep being able to play REM and then freaking Warren Haynes, and then if you want this kind of diversity in music, and you want to be able to choose, and you want to actually hear somebody when you call into the radio station, keep a thing like that alive. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to sell advertising. That's how you pay the bills and keep the antenna up and keep the generators running and buy new computer programs and broadcast.
Exactly.
So I mean, and there's a lot of, you see, like you said, you've seen the place. It's not one guy sitting in this tiny shack in the middle of nowhere talking in a microphone.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
it
because
is.
you know what you're going against. You're going against a multi-billion-dollar industry.
And y'all stood the test of time 32 years. And so they have chosen a voice, a face to represent them you can say outside the place, and they chose you.
Well, I mean, they chose us, Tim.
I mean, it's not like
me, Gene. I mean,
well, yes, but
Emily,
you was chosen.
Sean,
I mean,
tons of
or did
people.
you fall into the position? It doesn't matter how you're there. It seems that they're happy with you and you're doing really good right now. But one thing I want to touch on this last part right here is how I mean so okay, today when it comes to media and everything from your phones. For instance, I saw a picture of a guy. He was sitting there with a radio, the boom box. He had a big calculator with a red ribbon that comes out. He had all these things, and then the next thing, the guy was like, "Boom, iPhone." Everything's there. This other guy had a big calendar. Boom, iPhone. So the idea is,
has it been simplified?
so what do you find to be controversial in today, in the very modern world of media? What's the biggest thing controversial? Not the biggest. There's no such thing. You can always change the subject. What's a good controversial issue that we can,
Oh, not something that's controversial, pertinent right now. You're saying as far as media goes, what's the controversy therein? The same one it's always been. What I mean,
viewers, listeners. I mean,
your
well,
rights versus your responsibility. I mean, what's your responsibility towards your audience? If you imply that you're a news source, do you have to be newsworthy? If you engage people and you have an ear to your audience, do you have response? You have a ton of response. Some of them are legal response. You have responsibilities for getting certain information. Well, you certainly have like the emergency alert system responsibilities. You have to play those. You have to make sure that emergency information is available through that channel and that outlet. And you're being allowed to broadcast on a certain frequency at a certain loudness. And I do respect the idea of being harnessed in, or at least told that, look, you have a responsibility to the community if you're going to broadcast at this point. You're reaching this many people. But I also think that whole idea is lost a lot of time and muddied in the waters when you have all these huge conglomerates that, like, they'll go to court or they'll win battles on, like, even known news channels will go to court, and because they're huge multi-billion-dollar industries, be able to pass off fantasy or fiction as news, and then just say, well, we're an entertainment channel. So
that's right.